my right to decide. My body, my baby, my right to decide. My body, my baby, my right to decide.
As you know, last year, Minister Roxon announced a fantastic reform that would enable women to choose the care of a midwife and have funded it under Medicare, just like a GP. We thought this was fantastic and long overdue. Unfortunately, after intense lobbying, the government caved into pressure by the AMA, the Australian Medical Association, and agreed the only way a midwife can access Medicare is if a doctor agrees to support her practice. We understand and support health professionals working together. That's not our problem. This is essential in maternity care. But enabling doctors the power of veto over midwifery practice and women's decision making will not increase safety or improve relationships between doctors and midwives. In the case of home birth, it is likely to force it underground. So I'm going to hand you over to some of the beautiful women here who've got their own passionate stories to tell. And Rachel, if you don't mind starting off, that would be great.
Hi everyone. Thanks for coming today. I only agreed to do this a couple of days ago, and I'm glad it was only then, because otherwise I would have talked myself out of doing this. I'm not much of a public speaker. As you heard, I'm Rachel. This is Gabriel. He was born 7 months ago today at home under the care of an independent midwife. He's not my first child. He's actually my fourth child, but the first time that I chose the model of care of an independent midwife. Previous pregnancies I had, excuse me, can that be mummy? Had used a more medicalised birth plan and gone to hospital and ended up with 3 caesareans. I'm not really going to go into the details of them today, other than to say it was, now I understand, a classic cascade of intervention that led to my first caesarean, and then being told that that was my only option after having had a classical incision in my uterus. I spent a lot of years feeling that I'd failed as a mother, to be even able to birth my child. Now, as I've grown, I'm able to see that it wasn't me that failed, but the medical model that I chose for birthing. Having a baby at home on my own, under the supervision of an independent midwife, has given me back a real sense of I don't know the right word, sorry, but it's given me back my power. It's a lot of people said I was brave to choose that model, but I don't think brave is the right word. For me, it was the only option I had. And this bill threatens to take away that option for women like me and so many others. My midwife is a wonderful, wonderful woman, and I've met so many other wonderful midwives, and to think that they would be out of a job because of a piece of legislation just seems crazy to me. And that's pretty much the crux of what I had to say. Thank you for putting up with me.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy and I've had a caesarean. I feel like it was one of the most important moments in my life, and one of the life of my firstborn child was stolen from me. My surgery was classed as an emergency, even though neither of us was ever in distress. Looking back, it was completely avoidable, and I often replay all the things that I could have done or should have done or shouldn't have done. Deep down I feel like I've failed, but I also feel like the system has failed me. 3 years on, I still don't have the words to tell you what a caesarean has taken from me. I know that it has changed me, and it saddens me. I feel cheated, ashamed and unworthy. I walked into the hospital, a healthy young birthing woman, and walked out with major surgery for no good reason. The pain of a caesarean doesn't end when the scar has healed. It stays a part of your psyche forever. Even after the elation of a VBAC, the memory of my first birth still haunts me. The relationship I have with my daughter was altered by the way she entered the world. I feel like I will always feel guilty about the traumatic and rough way she entered this world, that she didn't feel my skin for so long, that she was taken away from me. I often think about how scared and lonely she must have felt. Her first few hours of life were in a bright room, being prodded and poked by strangers, and I'll never forgive myself for that. I'll also never forgive the system that caused this to happen. The obstetrician who I saw when newly pregnant with my second child, who laughed when he read my notes and said, and I quote, "I was a bit quick to cut there, wasn't I?" And how proud he was of how neat my scar was. I'll also never forgive the obstetrician who saw when I was 36 weeks with my second, who tried to talk me out of a VBAC, stating that had I ever noticed that the happiest people in life were the people that didn't aim too high. I do, however, thank him for giving me the strength and the need to prove that man wrong, the man who seemed to take offence that I would prefer to birth vaginally than be the recipient of his surgical skills. For my second baby, I had a vaginal birth in the same hospital, and while it was so empowering and such a better experience, I really wish I'd stayed home. All my instincts had told me to stay home, but I had too much doubt in myself after such a terrible first birth. After the birth, as I lay alone in my hospital bed, laying in a pool of my own blood, with no nurses coming to help me, I wished I was at home with a midwife who would stay with me and help me get clean and comfortable, that my partner didn't have to rush home and check on our firstborn and relieve our babysitter. I wish that our daughter could have been with us and enjoy these precious moments of her new sister. So while I was happy to have a vaginal birth, I knew that there has to be a better way. I want more children, but I will not be birthing in a hospital. Because of my previous caesarean, I will always be considered high risk and will not be accepted into a government home birth program. I won't go to hospital to have a baby, and to be honest, at this point in my life, I can't imagine having another baby unless I know that I can birth my baby at home with a skilled and caring independent midwife. I have lost trust in hospitals as a safe place to birth. So I'll fight for the right to stay home and birth any future babies I have at home. For my daughters to have the choice to birth their babies at home that's where they feel safest. Because contrary to popular belief, birth does matter. Thank you.
I'm going to peg you.
I'm going to try and speak.
You will. You're fantastic.
It's Rachel's fault. Can I start?
Yeah, go.
What's going to happen to people like me and people like Amy and people like Rachel? What's going to happen to people like us? I'm not low risk. I'm one of these high risk people. I can't go back to hospital. I've already had one unnecessarian. I won't have another. My baby was a caesarean due to failure to wait. Don't let anyone tell you your baby is born due to failure to progress. Your body hasn't failed to progress. They have failed to wait for you. They've failed to help you. Our culture has failed to support you, to make you feel like women can do anything. My caesarean was for failure to wait. My second labour at home was also long, but my midwife was helping me. She collaborated with another midwife when we needed more help. My baby was born at home, and it was lovely, and it was hard, and it was messy, and it was lovely. And my plan was to have another baby before July the 1st, but my second son is enjoying breastfeeding too much for that. As you can see, there won't be another baby in time. So my next baby will be born at home with someone to support me and care for me, look after me. I really hope that's a registered midwife. But my next baby will be born at home, and there will be more babies. And women like me will always have more babies, and we will always have our babies where we need to have them. We will do what we need to do to keep our children safe. I won't let another one of my children be born unnecessarily by a caesarean for no reason, to be taken away from me. What we are trying to get other people to understand is that we are making decisions based on what we think is best for us and for our children. We're not crazy, I just want to do what I know is right and good. That's all I want to do, and I want to have a registered midwife to be with me, to give me that wonderful care that I've had before. I want to do what I did last time again and again and again. That's all.
My body, my